All right, now we're going to cover something that might initially seem like not that big of a deal, but it ends up being a really big deal. And that's the naming of your devices. So to configure the name of your device, it's actually real easy, and we'll cover a couple rules and stuff. But I just want to emphasize that naming your devices is actually really important. When you start naming your devices, it's fine if you just have a few switches, a few routers, just a few of these devices, and you name it whatever. It's not going to be that big of deal. But when you start looking at enterprise level systems, the naming of your devices end up being a really big deal. And that's because of a couple reasons. Number one is you just need to know how to get to certain devices. And if you're inconsistent with the way you name devices and how you get onto your devices, it becomes very difficult to know how to access each one of your devices. The other thing is that I've seen where people have jumped onto the wrong piece of the equipment, wiped the configs off of it, and perhaps if they had a good naming convention, it would avoid doing that. That particular time caused a team of people headache over a weekend, and we figured that there was over 200 hours just to fix that one problem. So it can be a really big deal. Naming conventions can be huge. In this case right here, I'm only on one switch. It's just a demo, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. And this will be a short demo because it's pretty simple. All I do is go into the global configuration mode, and then I just type in host name and give it a name of what I want to name it. So perhaps I want to name this switch Andrew, and I hit enter, and now my switch is named Andrew. Let's say I decide I don't want that, then I type in no host name. Hit enter, and we're back to switch. So it's as simple as that. Naming of the switches is not that big of a deal. There's a couple rules that you have to follow. It can use letters, digits, and dashes, although the first character of your name has to be a letter, and it can't contain any spaces, and it has to end with either a letter or a digit. It can't end with one of the dashes. And it's got to be less than 64 characters. So there's a couple little things that you have to abide by when you're naming your switches. But for the most part, there you have it. Host name and the name of what you want to give it. And then no host name, we'll take that back off.